Today I'm going to share with you my journey into thrifting, upcycling, and refashioning my clothes to find my style. Welcome to Casablanca Cargo. This is Kathy. Journey began in 2017 when I found a pair of jeans that were too long at the thrift store. I cut them out, made them capris, and then I added little patches around the knees. And in that same year, I decided to make slippers for everybody for Christmas. And these are hand sewn, size 15 for my son. And he wore them until they wore out. God bless him. And then here's a picture of all the slippers I made from thrifted fabrics and fabrics I had on hand. And then I got my son this sweatshirt because he lives in a cold state. I don't know if he ever wore that. And in 2018, for my birthday, I took this dress that I got at a clearance store. It never quite fit, so I added strips of themed jelly roll, and here I am. Oh, it was a hot day. And I was also growing my gray out, so there we go. And then I got this tie-dye duvet on clearance, and it was too much. I couldn't stand every time I came into the bedroom and saw it. And I also got a packet of jelly roll that was just inside of it was this hideous fabric. So I combined the two and braided it and made two little bowls. One has the handles there, and then this one I use in my videos on my desk. I use it to collect little bits of paper. I use it to hold these bobbin spools that like to roll all over the desk. And you might have seen it in some of my videos, but it's come in so handy. And I saw one of the big, crafting channels. She had one, and that's what inspired me. I can't remember who. So then I decided to do some refashioning of some thrifted items. At one of the thrift stores, they used to have a bin of 25-cent t-shirts. So I took a t-shirt, and this is a thrifted kind of a dress with pockets. And unfortunately, I accidentally melted the partridges onto that, so I couldn't wear it. This was a t-shirt from the 25-cent bin. And I wanted to make a skirt out of it, a t-shirt skirt. So I have another t-shirt at the top for the waistband, and this is a clay-dyed dress. It wasn't bothering anybody, but to me, I was getting tired of it, kind of bored, and I accidentally cut it too short. I added this plaid trim around the bottom, and then I wore my outfits when we went to Solving where no one knew me. This is a nightgown that I got from the thrift store because of the dragonflies, and this is a nightgown that I could not wear during menopause, and if you know, you know, long sleeve. And I combined those two, plus this is another one of those 25-cent t-shirts, and I used it to make, I used my Sizzix die, cut out the dragonfly with the lace overlay. I put the negative part, the extra bit there with the dragonfly and the negative as a pocket on the back. I put the applique, and then I used that long sleeve nightgown to make expand it so it wouldn't be tight. Here I am in the hotel checking it out before I go out. Oh, I also used the sleeves from that green t-shirt to make pockets. Here I am in a store out in the amongst the population. I was very comfortable. It was hot, but I was comfortable. These are a pair of capris that were too long, so I folded them up and then used some fabric that I had bought to make those little bands at the bottom. I also made the flowers that I have on my denim messenger bag. And just to spice it up for the summer, make it a little cute. Now this is another clay dyed dress. I got bored with it, but I learned from my first attempt to alter these kinds of dresses. And for this one, I just cut it at an angle and then hemmed it, and that's how I wore it. This is another 25-cent t-shirt. I cut the bottom band about 3 or 4 inches, really. You can see up there on the hat, I used it to decorate my neon green hat when we were on vacation in the summer. Those were all the clothes that I took with me. Now this skirt I had probably in my closet for about 10 years or more. I never really wore it except 1 or 2 times, and I found this McCall's Marlo Thomas pattern. I couldn't believe it. I made the bag out of a thrifted sheet, and then I took that skirt and pulled out all the tiers, braided it together, and then added it to that bag with this big spool of thrifted lace. I still have it. I still use you still see it in my videos. And here I am. This was just in 2022, I believe, still using the bag every once in a while. Speaking of bags, here's another one. I didn't want to pay $60-some for a Vera Bradley bag, so I went on eBay. I bought a pillow sham and decided to make my own bag. Yeah, even every bit of that pillow sham is in this bag. I used the fabric that wasn't quilted for the seam binding. I put the Vera Bradley tag in the inside just to be cheeky. There's a couple of appliques I got to put on the inside, and then these were some charms I had in my stash that I felt just went perfectly with the bag. And here you can see the full thing here. And I bought that button. I believe it was from Walmart. This huge button, love it. Okay, so in 2020 now, you know what was happening. I decided to control my anxiety by really getting into baking bread, and I had a bread maker. Well, the plastic bags to put bread in were not working, so I took linen pants that my daughter had that she no longer wanted, cut them down and turned it into a bread bag. Worked perfectly. Now we're up to 2018. I got a Dolly Angel pattern, and I made this dress from a thrifted curtain, and I hated it, so it's gone. Not learning my lesson, in 2022, I decided to make another pattern of Dolly, and it's in between this apron that I made. In 2022 as well now, I had fabric that I didn't know what to do with, so I made a pattern for a leaf, and I made a whole bunch of these leaves, not knowing what I was going to use for it. Well, I found this linen table runner at the thrift store for a couple of bucks. I cut it down, made it into a belt, and I decorated it with the leaves that I made, and I made some rosette flowers to, that's a thrifted sheet. Just, here we go. And here I am back in Solvang wearing the belt, and that linen top that you see there, that comes up later. But here I am in 2023 wearing the belt with a dress, and that dress will come up later. Talk about that later. Now I found this applique on the back of a denim shirt that was way too small. It was like a child's 14 or something. I don't know. I cut it out, and at first I put it on my shirt. That this is another thrifted shirt from 20 years ago. Denim shirt. I didn't really care for that, so I cut it out even further and put it on the back of my shirt. Now I think it might be a little bit too low, but there's a lot of stitches in there to hold it in, and I'm not going to fiddle with it. So in the same time frame, I found out about dyeing fabric and the Lag & Look. So this is a fitted sheet. I started with a fitted sheet. I thought, well, if I ruin it, it's only like a $3 sheet, and it's not going to matter. And I put it into my machine and dyed it denim. And here's how it looks that it came out. It came out kind of pilly, so I'm not really sure it was 100% cotton. Here's a t-shirt I threw in at the same time, and you can see some of the little pills that came from the skirt. Not knowing how to style it, and of course this is again in summer that I decided to do this. I just put this t-shirt on. I've got a little pin that pulls up the one saggy side, and there's the bottom of the skirt. I love this skirt. And then later on, I used this linen, striped linen shirt that I bought from Marshall's to go with this skirt. It's so comfy. It's so fun to wear, and it's fun to see people's reactions to it. This was a shower curtain, a fabric shower curtain I bought that came already with the ruffles. So I cut it and put it around me to fit as a skirt, put elastic in it, and here's how I styled it. We went out of town again, where I feel like premiere these things, and of course it's summer again there. And so eventually I added pockets. This is, I forget where I got this fabric. I think it's, shoot, I can't remember now. Anyway, on the back is Pioneer Woman fabric. So on the inside of pockets, I like to make them fancy, and eventually I put lace at the bottom. And this is another way that I styled it more in the cooler months. I had this thrifted pajama top. I had to lose the scarf when I finally got to my vendor space. There's a little, that is actually a t-shirt that I added trim that I got from Etsy years ago. This is fabric now. The pink on the right is the original color, and that gunmetal gray is the color of the skirt. Here's the inside pockets again with some pretty fancy pink floral. Here I am wearing it in the summertime, and here I am wearing it in the wintertime layered up. I'm happier when I can layer, but and also I made this topper from a remnant and some pieces that I had. I think it's a t-shirt. Yes, it's a t-shirt underneath for the base of it. And here it is again in my 3-layered look with my gunmetal gray skirt. There I am at IKEA, woohoo. And here I am again just recently near the beginning of this year. I think it was in February. That I wore it again. It's layered. It's great. It's great in the summer. It's great in the winter, colder months, just based on what you layer it with. And also it's made of cotton. I put some extra fabric. I made little rosettes at the bottom. Here I am outside. I lost the denim shirt between the hotel and going out to the parking lot. Now this is 2 pillowcases, 2 linen pillowcases that I got in a sheet set. I believe it was king size sheet set. It was clearance at Marshall's, great price. And I decided to dye it chartreuse. So there you can see it after I dyed it. And I actually used the same color thread when I dyed the fabric so that you won't see the white thread. And here I am wearing it at the farmer's market out of town with my granny patch sweater cardigan that I've had forever, and the gray skirt again. Now I went online and I ordered this panel of Gustav Klimt's Tree of Life, and I also got the Riley Blake Kona color fabric. I've always wanted those, so I put them together with this, which is a duvet with the buttons still attached. So I put the panel on the back and I cut out where I wanted the openings, the shapes to be. Sewed around that. I guess that's reverse applique. I took the bottom of the panel, made a big pocket, divided in the front, put some of that Kona fabric there, and here I am wearing it. You can see the buttons still on the side. Those are all sewn shut. Here I am wearing it in my first vendor space, and you can see it from the back. And I don't know, I just love that skirt. I guess the skirts that I've made since I've discovered Rit dye and dyeing it in my washing machine, you know, they've just come out. I just love it. There's another topper that I have on underneath the jean jacket. Now we get to the dress. Now here's my formula minus the cocoa. It didn't have cocoa dye, but the dress was brown anyway. So, brown not really being my upper level color, I made it orange paprika here, and you can see it's just a regular t-shirt dress that I thrifted for a couple of bucks. And every time I dye something, I throw something in with it to dye. So this was extra fabric that I dyed, and I made roses out of it. And now this is that topper. I've got remnant fabric and dyed rosettes, and here's some of the dyed fabric strips. If I have leftover strips, I just throw it into a net bag and throw it in. The first time I dyed strips, I did it on the stove. Hated it. So now I only do it in the washing machine. This is the topper now, and that sparkly bit is just remnant fabric I found at Joann's. It's kind of scratchy, so I don't wear it a lot. This topper here was made with a tablecloth, and the roses are made from leftover fabrics. Here I am wearing it over the dress, and it was so hot. That was the last time I wore it over the dress because, again, summer. Here's another dress that I made with a thrifted sheet, and I dyed it eggplant, and I made that border piecing little strips together. This is a curtain, a denim curtain, that I cut off some of the tabs and turned it into a side apron. And it has a pocket with some of the leftover fabric from another denim thing I made. And it's so comfortable, you know. And so here I am wearing it as I'm creating my second vendor space where I have to paint, and I really didn't care if I got paint on it because it would just only, you know, enhance it. But it's very comfortable to wear. And here I am modeling a J. Jill linen dress that I thrifted probably 9 or 10 years ago. And I never really liked the color. I loved it because it's comfortable, has pockets. But then I decided in 2024 to dye it indigo. And now I really love it. I love it. And that jacket that I have is linen. And I dyed that a soft pink to go with it. And now we're up to the most recent refashions. And this is a sweater that I got at the thrift store again for a couple of dollars. And it was a medium, which it fit in the body, but it did not fit in the arms. So I cut the arms off, and I cut the arms on the bias to make ruffles, and I had just enough fabric for each arm. I mean, it was it's like almost like, you know, I couldn't believe it. Was like a miracle. So here I am wearing it just recently. Now this is something I've had this denim dress now, again, hate to say, probably 12 to 15 years. I don't know. Never really knew how to style it. So I took it and I cut off the sleeves. You know, you can see here it is frayed now. I cut off the pockets. I cut off the collar, and I opened up the seam in the hem so it would all fray. Then I found this lobster fabric at Joann's, and it was on clearance, and I got it for 70 cents. So I cut out this lobster and used it as an applique, and I used my distress ink to blend in where it's close to the body that I didn't want to deal with. Now I have these patches that I got from my sister-in-law in this big box of fabric, and at the top you can see where the fabric is the original color. I decided after staring at it for a few days, I'm going to dye the fabric. So I dyed it in a taupe color to make it more vintage looking. And the pocket here is a Home Depot nail apron that I cut in half to use as pockets on either side. Here's the lobster. That is a pillow sham that I got on clearance at IKEA. Kept the buttons or moved them around and stuff, so he looks like he's crawling out of a packet. And here's the back of the apron, tying the coat to cinch it in a bit. Now, this is the most recent thing I've been working on, thanks to T Myers Handmade. If you don't know her and you want to get into being inspired, go to her channel. I'll link it below. So this is another pair of pants that I had not worn. They're capri. I didn't like that blue color, so I started putting patches on of fabric, just patches. And I don't have any video of me sewing it. That was the hardest part. Was you cut open the sides and then you sew your patches in, and then you add a column. And with this, I did like a wedge at the top, you know. And I dyed it all key lime pie. She does hers with tea. I did mine key lime pie. And here I am outside in my little backyard area. And my little picnic table is not very wide. So this took quite a while. I've got my big bag of potting mix there that I've got to plant some seeds, and maybe I'm just going to get some flowers and you know, to decorate. But here I am using just plain white acrylic paint. I've got these two brushes, and here we go.